Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Here at Mad About Skin, we're passionate about helping you to get the most out of your skincare. So if you haven't already, now's a fantastic time to click that link below, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and you won't miss out on any of our amazing future content. Now, in today's video, we're going to be doing a new thing, starting a new series on this channel, which is our quick guide series. In this series, we focus on just one ingredient, and I give you a quick synopsis of what that ingredient is, what it can deliver, and some of the best products which contain that ingredient. My aim is to keep this video under 10 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Check the timestamp to see if I actually achieved it. But it's designed to be like a one-stop shop, quick hit to let you know all you need to know about an ingredient that you might be interested in or think you might need in your skincare routine. Now, we're starting this series off with probably one of the most questioned, certainly in the comments below, about ingredients, which is Bakuchiol, the plant-based alternative to retinol. Claims to be able to deliver all the benefits of retinol with none of the side effects, none of the irritation, the redness, the retinol uglies, which, let's be honest, we've all gone through if we've tried a retinol in the past. I'm going to leave a link to a video up there I did on like retinol uglies and purging and what you can expect and how maybe you can lessen the effect of that. But today we are just talking about Bakuchiol and whether the claims actually live up to the reality. So, what is Bakuchiol? Well, it's a product that was actually synthesized and, extracted from plant seeds in the 1960s, but for some reason lay dormant. They used it in other medical preparations, but lay dormant in the skincare industry through to about 5 years ago, when all of a sudden people realized, oh, it kind of has a similar mechanism of action in the skin to retinol without being anything to do with vitamin A and therefore not having some of the side effects. So it started to appear in every single skincare preparation and treatment imaginable. Now, it claims to be, whilst it is chemically completely different to retinol, it is not a vitamin A derivative. So when people class it, we always said about the Naturium retinol 2.5 retinol serum, and one of the things I called out was that is retinol, another derivative of vitamin A, and Bakuchiol, and that all adds up to the 2.5%. And I said, actually, it's not, because it's nothing to do with retinol. It does not have the same mechanism of action, and it's not a vitamin A derivative. So it's completely different, chemically very, very different. But people have just noticed the effects you can get from using it as a topical preparation mimic what retinol can do. Now, there are some studies, and we're going to go through that, but I'm going to leave to the end, watch to the end, where I'll recommend some products which have Bakuchiol in that I think are sort of the best on the market. Now, anybody who's watched this channel before knows I love retinol and I swear by it. It's one of the few ingredients which can actually reverse the signs of aging which have already been accumulated. That's pretty much unheard of. Most of the things we do in skincare is to prevent future aging and prevent further aging. This can actually reverse the signs of photoaging which has already taken place, so it's gorgeous. If you've abused the sun, maybe not looked after your skin as much as you'd hoped you should have done looking back, retinol can be your saver and can help to reverse some of those signs of aging. However, you do get that really irritation, the redness, the peeling, all the nasties that come with it. And so I was really, when people started talking about Bakuchiol, I was really interested and thought, actually, if I can get all the benefits with no the side effects, I am game for that. And that is something I want in my skincare arsenal. Now, as we said, it arrived in about 5 years ago into skincare, and pretty much every skincare line now has a Bakuchiol ingredient or product with Bakuchiol in as an ingredient. There have been very few studies done. So when people say it mimics exactly the mechanisms and the results, of retinol, in a couple of studies it's shown that yes, it kind of does. However, there have been very, very few studies, which I think is my main concern with using this product. A couple of studies have shown positive and promising results. That's great. However, you compare that with the mass of data available on the use of retinol, and it's just not comparable. There were 2 studies, however. The first one was the International Journal of Cosmetic Science in 2014, so a reasonably recent study. They looked at the mechanism of action and what the results were on synthetic skin, so fake skin, not on a human, attached to the human body, and they looked to see how retinol, or 0.5% retinol, compared to the results from a 0.5 Bakuchiol. They found, generally speaking, actually very similar results. Both worked similarly to stimulate the production of collagen, which is one of the main reasons we use retinol, so that's fantastic, and the diminishing fine lines and wrinkles. Also, they did show that there was a significantly less irritation in the synthetic skin when using Bakuchiol compared to retinol. So kind of proving what we already thought, or what the media seemed to claim when it comes to Bakuchiol. Second was the British Academy of Dermatology study in 2018. So this actually tested on human beings, actual people, not synthetic skin which is attached to the human body. Only 44 people, but that's reasonably standard for some of these studies. 44 people can give you a reasonable result and a reasonable sample size, and it was double-blind tested, which is really what you should look for, kind of like the gold standard in testing. It was also peer-reviewed by dermatologists who were the ones who looked. They had no idea who was on a 0.5 retinol versus a 0.5 Bakuchiol. They looked at the results afterwards and gave their opinion of how the skin had changed over a 12-week period on each participant. Now, the interesting thing to note on this one is they applied, again, same as the first one, the 0.5 retinol versus the 0.5 Bakuchiol, but they applied the Bakuchiol twice a day and the retinol just once a day. We all know you apply retinol once a day in the evening. Any more than that and your skin will be screaming. So you apply it in the evening. Yet with Bakuchiol, this actually used it twice a day, and they found that the results, again, were very similar, and there was no, let me get my words out, statistically significant variation in results between the Bakuchiol group and the retinol group. There was, however, a significant reduction in the amount of side effects, the irritation, the redness, and the peeling with the Bakuchiol group when compared to the retinol group. So again, kind of backing up what we know. So I think two things have come out of these studies. One, you need to use Bakuchiol more often than use retinol, which is really interesting because a lot of people use it in place of a retinol, so they're actually not getting the full benefits if they're not using it twice a day. And also, we just need to bear in mind that these two studies are, well, just that, two studies. In fact, 44 people in a total and a bit of fake skin to come across with a craze where it's now appearing in every single cosmetic product going. So I think we need to be a little bit mindful. There are some more recent studies looking at it and comparing it to antioxidants and things. I'm looking at it mainly here as a replacement for retinol, so I won't go into too much detail about those, but you can look them up if you would like, and I'll link those two studies I referenced in the description bar below if you want to go into a little bit more detail. So for me, I think Bakuchiol definitely has a place in skincare. I think you should definitely apply it twice a day in the AM and the PM and use it in place of retinol. Some people say, well, can I use it as well as retinol? I wouldn't. I think you're going to be doubling up on the potential benefits, but also I think that's when you could, even Bakuchiol isn't without some elements of side effects, so I do think you have to be careful with that. A lot of people like Bakuchiol because it's easier to find a vegan version of it, whereas retinol, because retinol is the type of vitamin A we get from animal products, it is quite difficult to find a vegan alternative. So a lot of people who live a plant-based lifestyle do reach for Bakuchiol as an alternative because it's easier to find a vegan alternative, which is absolutely fantastic. So if I was going to recommend some Bakuchiol products for you, well, my number one would be the Herbivore Bakuchiol treatment. Absolutely stunning. Goes on like that. It nourishes, it hydrates, and if you believe in the science behind Bakuchiol, I'll give you some really, really good results. It does state that you should use it in the morning and the evening, so I like that they've taken the science and they've applied it to their own product, which is really good, and I think it's a really nice product. It's a little bit on the pricey side. Here in the UK it's £40, so around the $50 mark, though I do notice it varies quite a lot depending on where you purchase it, so shop around if you want to get your hands on that one. The Incalist do a Bakuchiol, and because I'm not fully sold on the science, I think it's promising, but I think there needs to be more studies before I'm going to toss out the retinol and move to Bakuchiol. But I do think if you want to choose a Bakuchiol, choose one from a trusted brand, which for me is the Incalist. I adore the Incalist. I think their formulations are fantastic. They have so much integrity, and they publish all of their scientific papers online, which is really good, so you can read up about their claims and counterclaims and things that they really say their products are going to do. Full transparency, and I love that. So I think the price point as well, let's be honest, it's the Incalist, so it's under £10 here in the UK, under $15 in the US. So if you want to try, maybe start with the Bakuchiol, and you want to try something that's not too expensive, I think the Incalist is the way to go. There are other ones, if you want something in a pad form, Indeed, which is a fantastic skincare brand, do what they call a resurfacing pad with Bakuchiol in, which is interesting. It's an interesting technology and something that you might want to check out. But those are the three which I would recommend if you want to give Bakuchiol a go. Now, I am going to caveat this completely by saying this is all compared to retinol. So retinol and Bakuchiol in limited studies have been shown to be similar in terms of the effects on the skin. However, this is not comparing to isotretinoin, tretinoin, or adapalene. So if you are on a prescription strength retinoid, then you really aren't going to get the same benefits from using a bakuchiol. Adapalene or tretinoin, for example, are around 20 times stronger than retinol. So if you're assuming retinol and bakuchiol give the same effects, then it's actually going to be 20 times stronger than bakuchiol. So don't toss out the adapalene, keep the different gel, and don't think that this is going to be an alternative for you. That's just something I would like to caveat. And just because something's natural, it comes from a plant, comes from plant seeds, which is fantastic, but just because something's natural, don't assume you can't have a reaction to it. Still, always patch test behind the ear 24 hours before you then apply it to the rest of your face. That's just good practice with skincare, but particularly I think people get a little bit complacent when it comes from a plant-derived ingredient, because they think, well, plants, it's natural. You can still be allergic to plants. So just double check, do a patch test, be safe, and then you won't have hellish irritated skin to deal with. So think about including a bakuchiol if you're, I'd say, a beginner to retinol. Maybe you've heard some of the things some of the side effects from retinol, you've heard some of the scare stories, and you think, I don't want to go through the retinol uglies. I get it. Then bakuchiol could be a really good alternative. I don't think I'm swayed enough by the science to move away from retinol, and I certainly think if you want a mid-strength to a high-strength retinol, you're not going to be able to get the same from bakuchiol. So definitely don't switch, like I say, from your high-strength retinols to bakuchiol and expect the same results. I hope you found this really interesting, guys. I'd love to know, do you like this style of video where we do a little bit more deep dive into the science behind things, a bit more of a quick guide rather than a long rambling video? Let me know. Trying out a few new things on the channel, I'd really value your feedback, so leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. Hopefully you like this video and you give it a big thumbs up, and wherever in the world you are, guys, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.